Hello guys, welcome back to another episode of Breaking Budget. This is episode 2 of Breaking Budget, and today we are checking out a deck from my past. Definitely a lot of nostalgia with this deck. This is green-red Delirium ramp, and today we're going to be playing some modern, but the screen red Delirium ramp came about in standard around Eldritch Moon when cards like Emrakul the Promised End came out. And this deck was really good. Saw a lot of play from a lot of great players such as Reed Duke and his crew at the Pro Tour. It was a really fun deck to play in standard, and the main interaction of this it's just a basic ramp deck, nothing too fancy there. But we do have a Delirium package. For those of you who don't know what Delirium is a mechanic, which we don't have very many of our Delirium cards anymore, because they're kind of a little too low for the power level of Modern. But one of the best ones was always Traverse the Ulvenwald. Traverse the Ulvenwald just lets you search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. But if you have Delirium, which means you have 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard, instead you can search your library for a creature or any land card, put it into your hand, and then shuffle your library. So we build our deck so that we have multiple different types of cards, so that Delirium can be triggered easily, and then we have a green vampiric tutor or demonic tutor, whichever one it is. But just a 1 mana tutor effect for any creature or land in our deck. And as you can see over here, we have some heavy hitters. So I'm actually going to start over here with this deck tech with what we're ramping into. Yeah, we're a ramp deck. So the things we're ramping into: Glorybringer. Great threat, can kill opposing threats. 4/4 flying haste, great against planeswalkers. Good thing to search up randomly in certain situations. Golos Tireless Pilgrim. We actually so Golos can go and search for a land, so it ramps us. It's also a decent body. It's a 3/5, and on top of that, it has this pay all 5 colors and to exile the top 3 cards of your library. You can play them this turn without paying their mana cost. But you're like, we're only a green red deck. How are we paying all 5 colors? That ability doesn't matter for us. But we do have one Cascading Cataracts over here that combos with Golos, where we can play Golos, go get this land that's indestructible, make 5 mana in combination of any colors the following turn, and then we just get to play the top 3 cards of our deck every turn for the rest of the game. And it really helps us dig for our other cards. Chandra Flamecaller. Chandra, this was a great card in Standard at the time of this deck. Makes 2/3/1s with haste that can attack, so you can get in for 6. 0 is just a wheel where you draw that many cards plus 1, so it's great at pitching cards to your graveyard, but also helping you find some cards. Maybe you're flooded on ramp effects, but we don't need any more lands, or you're flooded on creatures and we need answers for something, so we don't lose the game, something like that. And then Chandra also can becomes a wrath of sorts, kind of like a mini Anger of the Gods, Storm's Wrath type effect, where she can deal X damage to each creature just by minus Xing. Then lastly, we have 2 World Breakers. Just your basic Eldrazi. Cast it, exile target artifact, enchantment, or land. Has reach. You can pay 3, sack a land, return it from your graveyard to your hand. Very resilient, good, strong threat. And then lastly, we have 2 Emrakul the Promised End. Big Mama Emrakul coming in. This spell costs 1 less for each card type in your graveyard. This is another thing that goes along with Delirium. When you cast it, you get a trigger just like you would with Ulamog that says you gain control of target opponent during that player's next turn. After that turn, they get an extra turn. It also has flying, trample, and protection from instants, as it is a 13/13. So that's what we're ramping into. Let's see how we're actually ramping into it. And the way we're doing that, we have 2 Arboreal Grazers here. that we've seen before in our past videos. Just puts a land on the battlefield 0-3 with reach. Good blocker. We have 4 Secure Tri Builders. Great way to get a creature in our graveyard while also accelerating us. 3 Search for Tomorrows, and then 1 Nissa's Pilgrimage. It has this is just a rampant growth with spell mastery that we can just go get 2 basic for us, put 1 onto the battlefield, 1 into our hand. If it's spell mastery, and we have 2 or more instant or sorcery cards in our graveyard, we can search our library for up to 3 basic forest cards. So we can really guarantee that we're going to hit our land drops. So only 1 in the deck, because I do think we want to be doing stuff a little bit sooner than Nisser's Pilgrimage is going to be able to be played. And then we have 2 Hedron Archives that tap for 2 mana, but can also be cycled to draw 2 cards. Other than that, we have a nice little removal suite and kind of our Delirium suite of sorts. Starting from the top, we have 3 Seal of Fires. Seal of Fire is just a 1 mana enchantment that we can sacrifice to deal 2 to any target. This is a great way to get our enchantments in the yard early, but also is a good source of removal that we can play early on turn 1 and then just leave there until we feel like using it. Tarfire, same, it's just a shock, but it's a tribal instant, meaning it takes up 2 types. We already talked about Traverse the Elvenwald. Then we have 2 Soul Guide Lanterns artifacts that we can sacrifice to draw a card or use as graveyard hate against our opponent if we need to. Good utility card, but also a good way to get an artifact in the yard. We have 4 Grapple of the Past. This is just going to mill us for 3, and then you can. Oh, and they've actually changed it to mill now that they've made mill the keyword. That's kind of cool. Then we can return a creature or land card from our graveyard to our hand. So that's any creature or land. So say we had our Emrakul, played it, took their turn, whatever, and then they had a way to kill it. The very next turn, we could just play a Grapple with the Past, mill over 3 cards, and get back our Emrakul from a turn or 2 ago. It doesn't have to be from those 3 cards. Grapple the Past, a very, very strong card, gives us a lot of resiliency in the late game. And then lastly, we have 3 Kozilek's Return. Kozilek's Return was the reason this deck was so good. You have just a basic deal 2 to each creature sweeper in red. It's an instant, which is kind of nice, so you could kind of use it to trick your opponent. But whenever you cast an Eldrazi creature spell with CMC 7 or greater, you can exile it from your graveyard. If you do, it deals 5 damage to each creature. So this is just a massive board wipe. Probably the best sweeper in all of red for its converted mana cost. And all you had to do is cast one of these, which we are in the business of casting a lot of. And then looking at our mana base for this, we actually only have 23 lands because we have so many effects that are just searching our library to put those onto the battlefield. So we just have 23 lands. We have 1 Cascading Cataracts that goes with Golos, like we talked about, 3 Cinderglades, 4 Field of Ruins as a way to get lands into our graveyard, but also to stop lands matter decks from doing things too early against us, because we are a ramp deck too, and if they're ramping faster than us, they're doing things that are better than what we're doing. So we need to have a way to slow them down a little bit. We have 8 forests going along with the Nissa's Pilgrimage theme. Also, we're just a heavy forest deck. You can see most of our spells are green. Even in the sideboard, we only have a couple red spells, which is why we have 2 mountains in our Cinderglades. And we have Field of Ruin that can find those too. And then we have 2 Sanctum of Ugins. This card allows us to sacrifice it whenever we cast any colorless spell with CMC 7 or greater, and we can sacrifice it, search our library for a colorless creature card, reveal it, and put it in our hand. This means if we have a Sanctum of Ugin, we can play our World Breaker and then sacrifice our Sanctum of Ugin and go get our Emrakul. Great way to guarantee that we can get that. We can get we can play our Emrakul and then get another Emrakul or get a World Breaker. Anything like that. Tons of different strategy with that. The Sanctum of Ugin. And then we have 3 Shrine of the Forsaken Gods. This is just a land that taps for 1, but it taps for 2, only to cast colorless spells when we have 7 or more lands. So that's really nice, being able to help us accelerate out things like our World Breaker, Golos, or especially Emrakul. And then moving on to the sideboard. Sideboard's not too crazy, just basic green-red stuff. We have two more Soul God Lanterns here for graveyard matchups, two Cinder Vines for people who are trying to cast a lot of spells, or just to be our artifact and enchantment hate. Two Collector Oofs to hate out on some artifacts and cut their abilities off. This is not the greatest in our deck because we do have something like Hedron Archive, but most of the time we're going to bring this in when it is much better for us than it is for our opponent. Two Roast, just another way to deal with big creatures, mainly things like Tarmogoyf, Death Shadows, other things like that. Kozilek's Return can do a decent job, but we have to have the big threat. This is a way to deal with them early at sorcery speed. We have one Tireless Tracker just for grinding matchups, two Chokes, and I'm actually going to move this card over here, and a Boil. These are for our island-based matchups. Islands don't untap during their controller's unstap steps, or destroy all islands at instant speed. This is for Mystic Sanctuary deck if we run into that. So that we can make it hard on our opponent's mana and make it very difficult for them to be able to actually stop us when we cast one of our big threats. And then lastly, just to gain a little bit of life, we have two Obstinate Balos and a Thragtusk. So that's the deck. We're going to go ahead and run it through, and we will see you in game one. Alright, here we are on the play in game one against our opponent. Looking at our hand here, I like what we're doing. We don't have the double red for Chandra yet, but we get turn 1 Search into turn 2 Grapple, which is something I'm down with. So I think we're going to keep this hand. We have 3 lands. Search it will find us our 4th, so we should be able to Golos early as long as we can find another land. We have Field of Ruin active on turn 3, so a lot of fun stuff here. Definitely down to keep this hand and try it out. Alright, opponent has decided to opponent mulled to 4 cards. So let's suspend our search for tomorrow and pass the turn. So opponent mulls to 4. That can only mean that they're on something like Tron, or they just mulled really bad. Maybe this is Hammer Time. Hammer Time can mull this low as well. Alright, another forest here. Probably just going to go with the forest, and then I think we're going to wait, and we will grapple at instant speed on their turn. Another Sacred Foundry coming in tapped. Nothing doing for opponent there, so let's grapple here. So we can get a Field of Ruin or a Mountain. We're just going to take our Mountain here. Yeah. We also put a Seal of Fire in the yard, so now we have instant enchantment and land. We'll get to cast this. We're going to get our other Mountain here. And we drew a search for tomorrow. So here I think we're going to play a Field of Ruin. And then fire off the search. I think we're just going to suspend the search and then have Field of Ruin up. Not in a big rush. We can play Golos next turn and then follow it up with Chandra. So they're going to Blood Moon us here. So I actually don't think I even care to... I don't think I care to Field of Ruin their Sacred Foundry now because it would just give them another Plains. So yeah, we're fine with this. We have tons of basics. Alright. Just play a Mountain here. Let's play Golos. So sadly, we won't get to activate Golos in the fun way. But we can... It's probably just easiest to go get a forest. That way we can cast our spells if we draw them. And then next turn, we're going to cast our Chandra Flamecaller. Look how many lands we have compared to them. What could this be? Ensnaring Bridge. Okay. So Ensnaring Bridge could be a slight problem. We'll need a World Breaker to actually deal with that. And let's cast this. Just go get another forest. No big deal there. Okay, Shrine of the Forsaken Gods. So let's just play Cinderglade here. And opponent... So let's just play Chandra, and then we're going to zero. Because we can't attack with our elementals. So we're just going to zero and see if we can find World Breaker here. Okay, so this was actually really good. So let's go ahead and traverse for World Breaker. And then next turn we can just play our World Breaker and start getting in. Chandra showing how good she is. Showing up for sure. Opponent's on some Sun and Moon prison shenanigans. Blood Moon definitely not a great card against our 10 basic deck, our 8 basic forest deck. Does shut off some of our synergies. We couldn't get our Cascading Cataracts with Golos. I mean, we could have, but didn't want to because it would be inactive. Our Sanctum of Ugin's not active here. Would have been really great to play Sanctum of Ugin and then World Breaker and go get our Emrakul. Because currently we do have 4 card types, so Emrakul only costs 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're only 1 mana short of that. But next turn we can play World Breaker and blow up Ensnaring Bridge. And then get in for 9. And then we should have lethal on the following turn unless they have another Ensnaring Bridge. White here. Red. I'm not really thinking about how they want to tap their mana for this. And you got to see a little bit there how strong Traversal of Enwald is. Like, we just paid 1 mana and searched for a 7 mana answer for a very problematic permanent. Karn the Great Creator. Alright, so we're definitely going to kill this. I don't know what... Let's see what they get. So they got another Ensnaring Bridge. Totally fine. Here. Alright, there's a K return. So let's play Sanctum of Ugin. Play World Breaker. So let's blow up the bridge. Plus Chandra. Send this one at Karn. And these two face. Those two going face. That one at Karn. Alright. Cool. Karn down. We got a huge board. Chandra is online. Really hoping to not see a land here and just see them have to tap out for bridge, and we still get to get in for 9. Bridge is totally fine. Oh, and they got to play. Oh, they played a Rest in Peace. Okay. Weird that they have this main deck, but totally fine. Uh, so we have lethal now. As soon as we can find another World Breaker, we just have to dig for it. Grapple the Past, very awkward. Not a good card for us. So let's just zero here till we can find another World Breaker. I don't think we really care about playing any more lands. So we will just chill here. Another Rest in Peace. So opponent on the enchantment Prisony Shenanigans. So there's an Emrakul actually. I don't think there's anything we can really do with this. Nor do I think we can cast it now, so let's just pitch all these. Draw all the cards. Alright. Traverse does not do anything. Hedron Archive does, though. So let's play Hedron Archive. And then we can Tarfire them. No point in drawing 2 off our Hedron Archive yet. But we are definitely not far away from just being able to find our World Breaker because Chandra is putting in absolute work. Alright. So Wrath of God is a little bit annoying here because it gives them an out. We don't just have them dead. Now, that's fine. So let's Tarfire them and sacrifice Hedron Archive. Let's draw 2. Nothing doing there. Nothing doing there. So we can play Steve. Steve attacks. So totally fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just play our other Sanctum of Ugin. And then discard 5 and draw 6. So yeah, play both Soul God Lanterns here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We'll Tarfire them again. So yeah, we're just sitting here digging towards our World Breaker, which should be lethal. They bolt our Chandra. That's fine. Let's Tarfire them. And then sacrifice this to draw a card. And sacrifice this to draw a card. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4. Play this. Play this. And I think we're just gonna hold on here because I think I just want to cast this Emrakul next turn. Because we're getting pretty close to finding our stuff. I think I'm just going to cast the Emrakul. That way, whenever we play the World Breaker, the game's just over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Just in case they do have a way to somehow. answer our Chandra. Let's go ahead and ditch these four. There's our World Breaker. Cool. And we're just not going to play their land. Nothing doing here. So they play the land. And they Helix our Chandra. Okay. But it is fine because Emrakul is exactly a 13/13. We found our World Breaker. We have dug all the way to where we only have 7 cards left on our deck. What a showing for our deck right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. Cast World Breaker. Blow up your Ensnaring Bridge. And we got game 1. Alright, awesome. World Breaker balling out. Cindervine's coming in here for sure. I don't know what else we really want. Something like Tireless Tracker might be kind of nice. They don't seem to have too many threats. I like to be able to hit them with these, though, or Planeswalkers. So I think we can trim on a K return, though. I want to keep all of our big threats just because we're going to need them. Grapple feels a little bad in the face of the Rest in Pieces. And I think we can probably just shave a Traverse here because of Rest in Peace as well. Don't want to do too much there. Cindervines is good at answering a lot of what they're doing, though. I just don't think I want any of the rest of this, though. I don't think it's going to help us too much. Cindervines is great, though. Another good way to get an enchantment in the yard, too. If that does end up mattering. But I do like having, just like randomly having 10 points of actual burn damage that we can hit them with. So that part's nice. Okay, so we got our 3 lands. We got some acceleration here. We have a basic. So I think we're done to keep this. Let's try it. Opponent did mull to 4 that game, but I feel like our deck is just kind of well positioned against what they're doing. The only card I was really kind of scared of was Karn. Temple of Triumph. Temple of Tilt. Temple of Tilt. Alright, so let's go Forest. Suspend it. For Search for Tomorrow. Leading on double tap land again this time. No 1-drops in the deck. I assume our opponent has Chalices. But I did not see them last game, so I did not board as though they might have Chalices. But it's definitely a strong possibility that they do. So here, just play Secure Tribe Builder. Can use this to go get another Forest. We don't really care about Cindervines too much. They're more likely to play a Blood Moon before they play anything crazy. Pillage, okay. They're going to be sadly disappointed that bringing in Pillage against us, I figure. Because we are a ramp deck to its core. Let's go ahead and grab our mountain here. And then, ooh, okay. Alright. So they play Blood Moon. I really don't care about this field too much. Already have a forest in the yard, so we have 3 here. I don't. So let's actually. We can do this. This is weird because we only have 1 green source, so we can grapple and get our forest back. There's an Emrakul. Let's just get our forest back. Uh, I think I just want to traverse here. While I can for World Breaker. But I could have got Tyler's Tracker too. Tyler's Tracker would have been really good. But that way we have 2 answers to the cards that we're worried about most, which are Bridge and yeah. There's Karn. You can only exile artifact, enchantments, or lands. I thought about getting Glorybringer, but we did not have the 2nd red source. Liquid metal coating. Don't think that will matter. Let's play Sanctum of Ugin. Play Grazer. Play Cascading Cataracts. I guess we can do this. We can Field of Ruin them. And get a forest. Just to make sure they can't cut us off green. And then play Cinderbonds. It's a pretty good turn there. So if they liquid metal coating here and start ticking up Karn, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like you have 7 or more lands. So they minus Karn here. Interesting. They get Spellskite. That's totally fine. There's liquid metal coating. So liquid metal coating actually isn't going to stop anything either, which is pretty awesome. So even if they're coating us here because we have the shrine, yeah. And that's actually totally fine because I think we're just going to sacrifice this anyway and go get a new Lamar or a Emrakul. So we can't tap it, sadly. We should have tapped it and blown up their Spellskite. That would have been that was the line that I missed. So yep. And let's just blow up liquid metal coating, and if they want to pay to keep the Spellskite around, yeah, I don't care about the Spellskite too much. And yeah, let's sacrifice Sanctum of Ugin and go get Emrakul. And funny enough, we can actually kill them. With if we take control of them with Emrakul because of their Spellskite. we have 6 card types. We'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. And they concede. All right, we got there. Awesome. See you guys back in game 2. Appreciate it. All right, guys, welcome back. We are here in game 2. We had an opponent for game 2, but their internet was not working too well. But we are on the play here, and we're going to see what we can do. We are 1-0 right now with our budget green-red Delirium ramp. This deck's about, I don't think I got to say it in the thing, but it's about you'll see it on the thumbnail, but it's about $150, $160. We went a little over our normal budget. Just because this is a deck that I love so dearly. And this is one of the unfortunate things of playing utility lands. We did not draw any colored mana, so we'll have to ship this hand even though it would have been a good one. Oh, and we did it again? Wow. I actually think we might just keep this hand. I don't really want to go to 5. And this hand's fine. We accelerate good. We have Field of Ruin to get our forest. I think we're going to pitch Traverse. So let's just lead on Field of Ruin. Give away as little information as possible. Just that our hand, the only information we're giving away is that our deck has utility lands and our hand is bad. Opponent plays a Hallowed Fountain. Shocking. It in. Opponent's also on a Kahira deck, so this looks like the blue-white deck, actually. Oh, wow. Let's just play another Field of Ruin. And these are the only reason that this hand's going to be okay to keep. I would not have kept if these were not Field of Ruins. This rarely happens in the deck because all we really need is one green source, which we have a ton of. But obviously there are some situations where this can happen. Our next turn is going to consist of us playing Sanctum of Ugin, getting a forest, and then playing Arboreal Grazer. Or using Sanctum of Ugin to Field of Ruin our opponent's Hallowed Fountain. Opponent's going to float a blue. We're going to get a forest. Even though we have this Glorybringer, we need to get more lands on the battlefield. We can use our Traverse to do some stuff with this. Play Grazer. I actually forgot about that. The fact that they floated to blue. We should have moved the second main so that they couldn't counter this. But, you know, if they're willing to counter Arboreal Grazer, I'm okay with it. Oh, they're going to opt. Because it's going to free up our ability to play Hedron Archive. All right. Would really like to draw another land here. Alright, there's a Sanctum. So here I'm going to traverse. If they let the traverse resolve, I'm going to get a mountain. And then I think we're just going to jam here. This is probably worthy of a counter from them. I still feel, yeah, Force Negation's fun. That kind of sucks for us. We would have liked to have that gone to the graveyard instead of Exile, because it would have turned on our Delirium. Or helped turn on our Delirium in the future. Okay. So we can't field anything. Let's. So no reason to really fire this off here. I think we're going to do it on our opponent's turn. We're going to send a message here. Soft beats. Anytime you can safely get in with your Arboreal Grazer, it is correct. So opponent's going to draw draw 2 off of an Archmage's Charm here. In which case, I'm probably just going to go ahead and fire off this grapple, just to ensure that it resolves. Alright, so we get a Steve here. We put a Traverse. Yeah, because we can put the Steve back in the yard pretty easily. I think the draw 2, if they play, anytime they play a non-basic land, we're firing off this Field of Ruin. Terminus, okay. Would they like to Terminus here? Just going to fire it off for value while they can. Give us our Arboreal Grazer back. Fine by me. It's not going to help us much, but I don't think it hurts us at all. I think the best thing, or the worst thing about that for us is that we might draw our Grazer again later and not have lands in hand, but I think that's totally fine. Glad to see them use the Terminus there and not whenever we get to play some of our better threats. Opponent still just nothing. Another Shrine of the Forsaken Gods. Let's play Steve. Sure. So 5 card types here. Emrakul would cost 8. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for an Emrakul. So Emrakul would be a great draw here. Them ever playing another non-basic land would also be nice. Yep, there's Jace. Jace is gonna go ahead and brainstorm. So looking a little meek for us here, but you have to remember Emrakul is absolutely insane against blue based like the blue control decks and stuff like that. Because they have so many good cards and so many options that you can really kind of screw up everything that they're doing. You can play their removal spells. on their things. You can, counter their own spells, all kinds of stuff, and really wreck their entire hand. Red source. Yep. Not looking good for us. The more, opponent is doing literal nothing. I personally despise this deck because of how poor I think it is at just actually winning the game. Just gonna go ahead and blow up the sanctuary here. Sure. Let's get our mountain. So now we're good. Would love to draw Emrakul. We're definitely going to jam Glorybringer if we ever draw anything that's worth, baiting. Because we kind of have to and just kind of hope opponent doesn't have anything too crazy. Because we will die to this Jace just brainstorming away. Unless we can find, I will play this out until we find our Emrakul and we run our opponent pretty low on clock. Because if they have, 10 mana and Emrakul's good, Teferi's fine. Have a mana leak covered. This looks like it's the Delve counterspell. Forget the name of it. It's not been played very often anymore. Yeah, Logic Knot. That's what it was. Pit 7. Why 7? That just seems so bad. Uh, I feel bad to critique my opponent, but why? I have 3 mana. You make it for 4 and you call it a day, or even 5. Play around Simeon Spirit Guide, but why 7? Makes 0 sense. I'm amazed my opponent hasn't actually started to uptick Jace on me, just because I only have 1 card in hand, and obviously I don't have a ton of action. But either way, they're nearing the end of the game just by continually activating this. Let's play another Field of Ruin. This was a very unfortunate game for us to draw all of our Field of Ruins and not be able to get off to a quick start. Treat the angels. We're gonna make a lot of angels here. X equals 3. Okay. You got it. Would love to be able to answer these and punish them a little bit, or even just like play my Emrakul. Like Emrakul into this would be nice because we could answer all the angels, most likely. Alright, grapple is a start. Let's see if we can even resolve it, if they're just on counter everything mode. Not good mills here. Let's just get Glorybringer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Play around Mana Leak here. Which they probably have the other counter spell. But let's play around it all we can. We'll totally attack and exert to kill one of these angels and they have Archmage's Charm. Now we're just on the force them to kill us quickly plan. Milk a little bit of clock. Because this deck is so slow. Like they don't even use their companion, they just have it just in case. It's like a last ditch effort to just like put a 3/2 out and just beat down with it for 6 turns. Emrakul is still good here. Grapple's good here. Counterbalance, okay. I bet they don't have a 13 drop. Emrakul. Sad. Alright, so for this matchup, Boils and Chokes are definitely going to be our friends. We like Tireless Tracker, we like Thragtusk. Hedron Archive is pretty bad because they do have ways to bounce it. It's also kind of clunky for what we're doing. K Return, we could probably trim one. I like these because they hit the Planeswalkers for a little bit of damage. I like all of our big stuff. I don't think I want Chandra actually because I guess Chandra's good. It's just hard. It's going to be harder to resolve. These are the threats that we can they push themselves through, especially Worldbreaker. Worldbreaker's nuts in this kind of matchup. Soul God Lantern is fine, but I don't think I want the other two. Uh, you can probably just go ahead and trim all the K returns. They're I guess sometimes they board into Monastery Mentor, so maybe keeping a couple K returns is nice. Hmm. Glorybringer feels like a struggle against them. I think I just want to cut these here. They feel like they're going to be the hardest to resolve uh, because they are the double red cards. And they're more for removal based stuff than they are for grinding out longer games. Glorybringer's good against mid range matchups, but paying 5 mana to just have this Edict Cryptic is pretty rough. So I think we're gonna go. I think we're just gonna try and win early with chokes and boils and stuff like that, and use boils as bait on their end step, and then kind of come up with a big threat. We will be on the play though, which is nice. We're about 5 minutes ahead on clock because our opponent was brainstorming their life away. So we can go. I actually like this because we can go traverse into. Yeah, we can go traverse into second land, and then play Steve, and then hopefully we draw into another land. We can actually play choke and suspend search for tomorrow. So I think we're gonna keep this, even though it is a one lander and it's weird. But choke is so good here. And these cards, we only need a little bit of start, and they just take off. Let get our other mountain here. It would be super bad if our opponent had like a spell snare, but you know, they got it. They got it. We're not here to play around counter magic too much. We're just here to ramp some lands and choke some control decks. They really have it. Oh, they're just getting tap land. That's what it is. They're just trying to eat us. Oh, they have it. Wow. Garbo. Play counterbalance. Alright, really need a land here. Land here is super important. Sweet. Ha ha ha. So 2 mana counter spells. They have a lot of 2 mana counter spells that could get this. So I think what we're gonna do here is just play Nissa's Pilgrimage, guarantee our land drops, and try and force some counters magic out of them here. Yeah, totally fine to be getting this counter magic out here. Would love for them to, tap out at any point for anything. That's the other unfun part about this deck. They never tap out. Like they don't tap out for anything. They just are a mono counterspell deck. Opting main phase is good for us. Probably looking for a land. Sure. traverse here. Let's get a forest. Play our forest. It's probably good of opportunity as ever to cast choke. Omen of this. Oh, what? They're just digging for force? If this resolves and they're tapped out, that's huge. They have to have force. Oh my gosh. What? Well, that's insane. And opponent just concedes to that. Yeah, choke way too good versus that. So I think we're good to stay where we're at. I might actually bring in an extra Soul Guide Lantern because and trim on something like a Seal of Fire. Just to stop some of their graveyard interactions. And it draws us cards. I was kind of afraid we weren't going to get there in that game, but that was a pretty good showing there by Choke and just how powerful Choke is in these metas now. And Choke's a very inexpensive card. Like I said, this deck's only $160. Most of that is Emrakul. Like the two Emrakuls are like $60. So without the Emrakuls, this deck's like a hundred bucks. Uh, this seems okay. I kind of want to mulligan for some hate cards, but maybe we're fine to keep this here. I mean, we have Grapple, we have uh, Steve. I don't want to be too greedy. This is a fine hand. They go into the late game. Lead on Mountain. Just in case there's something we need to tar fire. We might actually tar fire them just to get uh, some more stuff in the graveyard. Yep. Opt is fine. Let's jam Steve. Yeah, they let Steve resolve. This is probably going to be a game where they're much more likely to just let our spells resolve other than the very important ones. We have a lot of very impactful spells that I don't know if they can beat. Things like and here I'm actually probably just going to attack with this Steve for a couple turns. Little Teferi's fine here. They're going to bounce our Steve. Bouncing our Steve's bet. Oh, wow. That was such a punt by our opponent. Because now we've fizzled our trigger. They don't get to draw any cards. And we get to kill it. Oh, that's so good for us. So there's an Emrakul. What else is it worth it to... So, because we can Field of Ruin here, which will get a land in the graveyard. And leave us with 2 mana. Or we can grapple here. Grappling also guarantees it. I think the land guarantees it better. Yeah, so we can... Let's just go ahead and Tarfire to Fairy. And then... I don't know if I care about the Prairie Stream or not. And getting some more lands out of the deck. It does put land in the graveyard, which is probably more important. I don't know. We can grappling here seems really good though. I'm just worried about accident. Like I'm worried about because I want to get back the Steve. So it's probably best to field. Get a forest. Now we have 4 card types. And we can traverse with Delirium. I think Tireless Tracker is probably going to be one of the best things we can resolve next turn. We just jam Tracker, and if they counter it, we grapple and get it back. Yeah, I like that a lot. And we're just kind of on the... Yeah, we're on the slow roll to Emrakul. Whenever we hit our 7th land drop, we'll have Emrakul ready to play. Our opponent taps out. Oh, opponent tapping out for Jace? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. We'll take this all day. Opponent gets to draw their cards and everything, but... Ooh. That one's tempting. We can boil now, and it puts them on having to have Force of Negation. So it takes 2 cards out of their hand, but we don't pressure the Jace at all. I think it's too good to not do. I actually think I'm going to hold on to it and just play Tracker. Tracker resolving here is super good for us because it's going to keep us up on cards. Yeah. And Tracker pressures the Jace. So and they're gonna tap down on the Omen of the C2 to scry 2 and upkeep. They put 2 on the bottom. Nice. Just gonna brainstorm here. Assuming they have path, they have to here to make this line worth it. Because if not, we just get the trade with the Jace. Let's go ahead and grapple. Opponent's hand does not seem that great. They're going to fetch here. And interesting. I'm going to get back Steve. Actually, it's probably just as easy to get back for. I guess it's just as easy to get back Forest. Yeah, so let's just get back Forest. So they got blue and white in upkeep. Path, okay. Nothing doing here. Yep, get our other mountain. 5 card types in the yard. We need 8. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're 1 short there. So let's boil here. I had the force pitch opt. All right. Let's grapple. Let's just get forest back. Next turn, Emrakul's online. And our opponent's going to have just a few cards in hand. Yeah, they can brainstorm all they want here, but it's going to take them a while to actually win the game. So they might just time out, but also this Emrakul is going to be pretty bag breaking. Even just the trigger. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like, even if they counter this, we get to do some fun things. Cryptic's fine. We don't want to use Kozilek's Return because it does actual nothing. So we get to take their turn. And we can... Not a ton we can do here. Aether Gust doesn't have a target. So we could play Omen in the Sea and force it. They drew another Jace. Let's brainstorm for them. So put on top anything that is good, which would be Disdainful Stroke, Aether Gust. Play Misty. Play Counterbalance. I guess we can play Omen and counter it with our own counterbalance. That's only when your opponent casts it. Well, that was not what we wanted to do. We wanted to Force of Negation that. That's tilting. Fetch and shock. And then we can play the other Jace. Yeah, that was bad. The fact that we had to give them, actual good spells because it wouldn't let us counter their counterbalance. And we know they have an Entreat on top. Top cards and treat the angels for sure. That's usually not. I mean, like I know what it is. I put it there. Uh, Play another Steve. And this, yeah, I mean, yeah. This is super unfortunate that we're going to probably lose this game because we punted on our, not even punt, like we just, it didn't give us the option to counter the counterbalance, I guess because we didn't maintain priority. I'm going to see, they not draw it? Oh, they're going to do it now in an instep so that they can attack. 1, 2, they can only make 3, even if they fetch. They're just going to make 2. 2 is fine with me. Yep. Don't really have great attacks here, though, because we can attack their Jace. Would love to draw Worldbreaker here. Worldbreaker, a grapple. Anything like that would be great. Wouldn't be mad to see Golos. Arboreal Grazer works. That blocks. So let's get Jace down to 1. Surprised I didn't steal our Grazer there just to guarantee they get in damage. Cast, yeah, they're not going to cast Terminus. I was about to say, please cast Terminus. Put your angels back. Worldbreaker, please. 1 time. Emrakul, 1 time. Grapple. Alright. There's Worldbreaker. So, we'll have it blow up. Counterbalance because the lands don't really matter. Kozilek's return's the big one here. Don't care about losing my Steve. We also missed a mana, but it's fine. And looks like we're going to get there on time in this one. In paper, this would have been a draw, but I mean, we're in pretty decent position. They're going to put Entreat back on the top, which is fine. Going to play Omen of the Sea so that they can draw it. Okay. And they have to make 3 for it to be lethal. Ah. With 10 seconds left on the clock. Sad one. We'll see you for game 3. That was a sad loss. Alright, we're back. Round 3. We won the die roll, so we are going to be on the play. Playing some green-red Delirium ramp budget deck for today. And this hand looks pretty sweet. I think we do a pretty good job of getting Delirium. We just need to accelerate. But it looks good to me. I think we're down to keep this one. Probably gonna lead on Soul Guide Lantern. Really, actually, we might just lead on Traverse, just to guarantee that other land drop, and guarantee that we have some mana or the colored mana to cast Tarfire, in case our opponents is on an aggressive deck. The match that we did have a match for round 2 that wasn't the blue-white control deck. It was actually Snoop Goblins, and we blew them out with a Cow's Electric Return, and they conceded. I wish I could have showed you that one, but it was funny because we had Tarfire against their Goblins deck. Stretch. Hello there, Mr. Lantern. How are you today? Uh, oh, I just have to? I didn't know that, or I wouldn't have played it, so I don't want to exile my stuff. Well, that's annoying. Did not know that was a part of the card. I thought that was up to 1. Well, learn something new every day. Narcomoeba coming back is fine. We're mainly looking to stop like a big Ox turn or something where they're going to be bringing back multiple amalgams or Swamp. Interesting. So this is probably they're going to haggle here. Discard Golgari Thug. Dredge it over. This is fine. Yeah. Being very patient with this here. And I'm going to Dredge Golgari Thug again. Another Creeping Chill. Still going to be patient here until they do something that's going to bring these amalgams back. Then we're going to get to fire that off, and that'll be nice. Fine to take a couple Creeping Chill hits, though. Let's go ahead and just hit this Narcomoeba while we can. Save ourselves some damages. Play a Seal of Fire here. just in case anything does end up on the battlefield, but mainly so that we can get it in the graveyard uh, here in a little bit. Didn't feel like fielding our opponent was going to be the greatest line, so decided to just seal instead. Opponent has no dredgers in the yard, doesn't activate Street Corn, takes a natural draw. Interesting. Wonder why that is. Red here. Cathartic Reunion, sure. Can't do anything about that. So they pitch 2 thugs, they dredge the first thug, get a Silver Smoke Ghoul, get a Creeping Chill. And we just need to put opponent's graveyard over here for us. So they hit a Creeping Chill, sure, we'll take the chill. And then Silver Smoke Ghoul. 3 Silver Smoke Ghouls that they're going to bring back along with some amalgams. Yeah, nope. Let's go ahead and nip that in the bud right quick. None of that going on here. Let's play Cascading Cataracts. Play Hedron Archive. But yeah, nice to have opponent about halfway through their deck and not be doing too much. Shriekhorn's going to mill 2 cards, 2 lands. Nice to see there. Definitely just looking to get to our later game. Yeah, good. Opponent's not doing too much. Let's play a Cinderglade here. Let's actually look here. Because I know opponent milled over a swamp, I believe. Yeah. So I wonder what basics they actually have. I might Field of Ruin them off of this Sacred Foundry. I think I'm going to wait a turn for it. I don't know. Don't want to concede the game. Actually, we can because of the Hedron Archive. We have 7 mana. So, boom, boom, boom. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. So let's do that. Yeah, Field of Ruin that. They're going to float a red. Forest. Dredge usually doesn't run very many basics at all. So to already have seen 2 mountains and a swamp, next level plays. Guess let's just go ahead and go to second main. Lose that mana just in case. Just being safe. Play a Golos. Tireless Pilgrim. And that will get a Shrine of the Forsaken Gods. Next turn, we're going to have tons of mana, and even more fun, we get to activate Go. Oh, man, we're going to get to activate Golos. We would have drawn Shrine and then activated Golos for these 3, so we could have cast this, put one of these lands into play, played the other one, probably would have casted Kozilek's Return just for no value, just to get it in the graveyard, and then cast this to get an extra land. And we would have just been chilling. And then the next turn would have been draw that, cast those 3, and this would have been able to get us our Emrakul. And yeah, that would have been sweet. Golos is pretty nasty whenever you get a chance to use it the right way. So bringing in 2 more Soul God Lanterns against them. And then I think Baloth, and Thragtusk, much better than Glorybringer and Chandra. Kozilek's Return cleans up most of what they're doing. Uh, I think we're fine to trim a Seal of Fire. We're not. Stop that. Uh, yeah, I like this. And then this is Pilgrimage probably a little slow for what we're doing, and Steve and Grazer block well, so we want to keep them in. I'm trying to think, they're gonna be bringing in hate for our hate, so I wonder if we want to bring in some number of Cindervines. I think we're gonna wait on that and see if they have Leyline of Sanctity. That is some tech that Dredge uses now for targeted things. I think it's Grapple. Or maybe it's Hedron Archive. I don't know. Hedron Archive was pretty good there, as long as we're not under too much pressure. It bridged us really well into the late game. So Grapple's really good though. Let's just. Oh, I accidentally clicked submit, but would have trimmed another grapple there. But we'll roll the 61 card special. Three forest, three utility lands, Emrakul, snap keep. No, do not keep this hand. This one's fine. We don't have graveyard hate, so it does kind of stink that we don't have graveyard hate. But we get to accelerate into Thragtusk, which is pretty good. I think World Breaker's what's going on the bottom. Opponent asked me if I was all right. I don't know why, but Grazer was a sick draw here. So we're going to put Cinderlane into play. Not great mills here for opponent. That's good for us. Opponent's going to take a natural draw. Opponent also mulliganed pretty hard, it looks like. So they mulled the 5. Not insane. Not too. That's not bad for Dredge. Dredge usually mulls pretty well. Alright. So let's play Steve. We have guaranteed Baloth next turn. And then follow that up with Thragtusk. While this isn't like the nuts or anything, as it pertains to, having graveyard hate against Dredge and, hitting and finding our sideboard cards, we found some good ones here that, we're going to be up almost 10 life and be able to pressure them. As long as they're not doing too much. Ox is a painful one there. But the fact that they did not discard a Dredger there says a lot. Creeping Chill, and then another Merchant of the Veil. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they don't have enough cards for Ox to be escaped, which is good. I would kind of like to keep this around a block. Cathartic Reunion. Why wouldn't they have cast this last turn if they had it? So not going to do anything there. Oh, she's going to cast a Thug. That's totally fine. Gonna get a forest here. That way we can guaranteed cast our Baloth. Gain some life back. And then next turn's either going to be a combination of Steve and Tarfire, or so that we can get some more lands, or we'll draw our land and play Thragtusk. Hardcasting Merchant of the Veil. Alright, this is pretty good for us overall as things go. Alright, so there's a Sanctum. Let's attack with the Baloth and see what they do. Actually, this is probably a bad attack because they're just going to throw the Thug in front of it and get to Dredge. So I probably shouldn't have done this. I should have just waited. But I think we're fine. I think we want to be a little bit more aggressive here. I think this actually forces them to put the Ox back on top, or is it the Merchant? Yeah, that's a little unfortunate there. Oh no, it skipped through my main phase. Dang it. Well, that's not what I wanted to do at all. So they dredged over Thug, and then they're going to dredge over Stinkweed Imp. Well, that stinks. That just put us behind a whole turn. Yeah, here comes Ox. Gonna discard the hand. Should get 3 good dredges here. Fragmentize, okay. Narcomoebas and a Creeping Chill. Tilt. Prized Amalgam. And then no more dredging. Had to take a natural draw. Yeah, so they chill us. Get 2 Narcomoebas and a Prized Amalgam back. Or 1 Narcomoeba because the other one was just pitched. We'll totally block this. So let's grapple with the past. Mill 3. So there's a shrine here. Let's make our graveyard not so ugly looking. So we can get Scout or we can get land. Scout's just going to go right back and give us a land, so I actually kind of like just getting Scout. Or not Scout, Steve. So yeah, let's just play Steve, and we can make some blocks here where we need to. They don't have great attacks, like the Amalgam can attack real well. They're only going to get through with one thing if they attack all out. And we have this Tarfire, which is quite nice. I don't think they know it, so they're going to draw a card. That's pretty good. I don't think they'll think about it, but I will probably. I don't know. They don't have great attacks. I don't know if they will attack or not. I messed that up. I'm dumb. I should have sacked the Steve and got a land. Uh, let's play Hedron Archive. Then tap this. Play another Steve. We got 1 mana left over. We have Delirium if at any point we decide to draw any of our traverses. Right now we're just kind of hanging on. Like I said, no great attacks from opponent here. Goes over double Creeping Chill. That one's unfortunate. That should be the last 2 Creeping Chills in the deck, though. If we check here. Yeah, all the Creeping Chills are gone. So we faced every Creeping Chill so far. So let's do Steve the right way this time and actually sacrifice. Golos is solid here. World Breaker's not bad here. Smiting. I don't know why they Smiting Helixed us there. Because they were already going to gain life and bring stuff back. Probably should have saved that, in my opinion. And yeah, this brings back 2 amalgams. Oh wow, they did it at instep, I guess. So it doesn't bring back the amalgams. Well, that's punishing for them. Let's play Soul Guide Lantern. Let's get rid of Ox. Let's play Thragtusk, gain some life. And then we can Tarfire one of these Silver Smoke Ghouls. And exile each opponent's graveyard. Alright. Good turn there. Things look good on board here. We'll gladly trade the Thragtusk with their Ox if they want to attack. 3 mana here. Yeah, activate, dredge. March of the Veil doing some good work. Narcomoeba coming back. We got Narcomoeba. We got 1 Narcomoeba locked down. No attacks here for them are all too great. Really? Okay. This seems aggressive. So now I think we just want to take 5 and take our trades where they go. Because this card's problematic for us already. But yeah, keeping all of our stuff around and, taking 5 is totally fine by me. Alright, grapple. Let's grapple. Alright, cool. We found our Emrakul. Alright, we got 6 card types. This costs 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One short, but we're going to be able to do some damage with it. They actually have 7 cards, so I think we might be able to mill them out. Play Stinkweed up. Got it. Yeah, I think we're just going to mill them out. So, because what we can do is we can force them to attack with this Ox and block it. Yeah, if they don't do it here, which they're going to do. Get our beast. Alright, Field of Ruin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Oh, not even that. We just need 7. Sacrifice Sanctum of Ugin, all that fun stuff. Emrakul. And opponent concedes. Yeah, so here, the way we play this turn out, I don't know what the opponent has in hand, but they only have 3 cards. So what we can do is no matter what, and they have dredgers too, but we can escape their Ox and force them to draw the rest of their deck. And then whenever it's their turn, they'll go to draw, and they will not have a deck to draw from, and they will lose due to mill. Sweet, that was awesome. Game 4 coming back at you. See you in a second. Alright guys, we are back here. We are 2-1 in our Breaking Budget League with Budget Green-Red Delirium Ramp. So far we've been doing pretty good. We beat Dredge, had a close game against Blue-White that we ended up losing. But the deck has performed very well so far. This hand... This hand is interesting because we do have early Delirium. Because we'll have Sorcery, Artifact, Enchantment right off the bat. So that part's interesting. We have Emrakul. I don't know if we want to keep this, though, because we are low on lands. Traverse can get us lands, though. I think we're going to try this hand. We are on the draw. Bloodstained Mire. Opponent has fancy Bloodstained Mires. Alright, so let's play Forest. And then we're going to Traverse here. And get a Mountain. Getting Mountain so that we can play Seal of Fire for next turn. And then we will probably play that out with Soul Guide Lantern. Just to be the most mana efficient. Though I could see us playing this Traverse for another land if we feel like we need it, if we miss a land drop again, or if we don't draw another land here. Just to guarantee that we can play this Hedron Archive on turn, or on curve. Only thing that's probably going to change our play would be if we drew a Steve, because it's a better 2-drop play that will maximize our mana. Kroxa. Alright. Well, Kroxa is definitely a good target for Soul Guide Lantern. Opponent's on Mardu, which makes me think that I want this kind of stuff. I think I'm almost fine to just pitch the Emrakul, because it's the last thing we're going to be doing. As weird as it is, we can get it back. So yeah, let's pitch Emrakul. Just because we can get it back, and we want to be able to interact. Like if they play a young Pyromancer, we'll have Seal of Fire or a Lurrus, anything like that. Opponent does not have a companion. Opponent's probably very confused though. So let's play Soul Guide Lantern and get this Kroxa out of the way. That way we don't have to deal with it. So let's hit Kroxa. Soul Guide Lantern has really shown out this game. And then let's play a Seal of Fire. Really hoping to draw land here for... I guess next turn it'll be fine no matter what. Because we have Search for Tomorrow, so we can search for a land. As long as we don't get discarded again. Inquisition. Alright, so they can take Traverse, Search, or just Traverse or Search. They cannot take Hedron Archive. Either provides us a land drop for next turn, or for our turn 4, which is fine. Which is all we're really worried about. I think Search is probably a little bit better, but Traverse does have better use in the long game. So, like, if we were to draw our land naturally, yeah, we can actually use Traverse to go get something. So, I'm sure our opponent's just so confused as to what they're playing against. Then, what we got here? White, black, lone rider. Okay, I remember this card from Limited. They're also playing random Eldritch Moon cards. So yeah, this thing has first strike and lifelink. At the beginning of your end step, if you gain 3 or more life this turn, transform Lone Rider, and it becomes a 4/4 with first strike, trample, and lifelink. I think we're fine until this is about to transform. Wonder what they have that's gaining them life. That would be interesting to know. Huh. So I think it's just Steve here. Steve blocks the Lone Rider and doesn't let them gain life. It does kind of give away what our hand is, but I don't really care all too much. Lone Rider also feels like a lot of bait, like it could just be bait for Silifire. I guess like what are some of the cards that gain life? You have the Kaya's Guile gains 4. Kaya herself can gain 2. Let's block. Sacrifice. Don't gain any life. Helix. Okay, Helix makes sense. Yeah. No. Not gonna let that flip. Alright. So... Sadness. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it just kind of sucks. Where like the Hedron Archive is the better card to play here, and then we just kind of need to hope we draw a land so we can play Worldbreaker and blow up our opponent's red source to cut them off of the most colors. Stoneforge Mystic. Yeah, Batterskull also. Lone Riders. I guess Lone Rider, can get kind of nasty if it goes unchecked. It's like a bad card on the front end, but on the back end, it's a pretty nasty card. First strike, trample, lifelink on a 4/4. Sweet, we drew our land, and they got Batterskull. So that part kind of stinks because we want to play our World Breaker. I guess we can just play it and get rid of their red source, and then go from there. Kneecapping them on lands a little bit is going to be nice. Like now they don't get to do anything on their next turn other than hold up the Stoneforge activation, which we already outsize with our World Breaker. Shambling Vent. One of the cards I've never understood why people register in Modern. Like a fine card in its own right, but just does not seem anywhere near the power level of the format. Alright, so we're hitting the nothing doing point. I think we're going to wait until just hard cast this. We can get a forest. Just pass. Like, we can just buy time at this point. Like, they're off one of their colors. Their threat here is just going to die to our World Breaker. Like, even if they kill it, like, the worst thing that could happen is they have Path. Two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8. So we have 8 mana here. Exile all cards from... Oh no, that's no fun. It goes in that order, doesn't it? That's annoying. Yeah. Just 86 our graveyard real quick. That's pretty tilting. So here, let's sacrifice this and draw 2 cards. 2 lands. Sacrifice this and draw a card. Alright, 3 lands. Glad we did that. Alright, need something to happen here. Cascading Cataracts is not something happening. Go ahead. Flooding out pretty hard here. Got 8, 9, 10, 11 of our 23 lands. It's alright though, because we still have a lot of stuff. We have 2 card types in our yard. Yeah, I would gladly discard one of these lands to you. Golos would be nutty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, and it would give us a land, and this would be 5. So that'd be 5 and 5, and then we could activate. I guess it wouldn't matter because we'd be too far. Fine. So many lands. That was brutal. I didn't want to reveal my hand there. Steve. Like, this grapple of the past would have put K command or K return. We could have got back another Steve. And then we would have just been, drawing for stuff. Yeah. So here. Cinder Mines is good. I'm fine with the third lantern. Oof isn't bad. Tracker and Baloth. Probably want to ditch the pilgrimage. Not a huge fan of the K return. I guess K return's fine. It's fine. These are good where they're at. Steve, Grazer, Traverse, Chandra, Glorybringer. I'll probably trim an Emrakul here. I guess not. They're a mid-range deck. We definitely want to draw it. Maybe Baloth might be kind of loose. I guess Baloth's pretty good against Kroxa, though. Oof seems like it could be kind of loose against their swords. I don't know, I still like it though. But we can cut our Hedron Archives because they don't work. And our Soul Guide Lanterns don't work against that either. So maybe we don't want Oof. Oof's is mainly just to go with like Adnaz or some super artifact deck. Probably just ditch his Soul Guide Lantern. I think that's too much. And then we brought in Baloth so we can trim some of this stuff. I kind of like Chandra and Glorybringer and all of this stuff. So maybe we do just trim an Emrakul. And then they have Graveyard Hate already, so trimming a Grapple and a Traverse. Sure. We can try this. That Kai's Gal really, really hit us. This is fine. We need threats, but I mean, we have all the acceleration that we need, so I'm down with it. Get to go turn 2 Steve into turn 3 Steve Cindervines, into turn 4 we can probably play something pretty good. No discard spells good for us. Tracker is really good here, especially here. So let's just go Steve, and then we can sack this Steve and go Tracker land. Stoneforge. Yeah. Get Batterskull. So I think here we just want to get down tracker. Oh no, we punted that. That's fine. Because now we can just get our clue whenever. And then next turn, we'll have Cinder Vines. Play the land tapped here. It's the only thing. Alright. So we'll just go ahead and sacrifice here. Get a forest. Get our clue from our tracker. We couldn't have actually, we couldn't have ever played around them having removal for it. Like, it was just, if they have removal for it, they have removal for it. But now they're not really doing anything on their turn. No attack even, either. That's pretty good for us. Chandra Flamecaller is a good one. So let's play Cinder Glade. I don't know, they're hurting on red mana. So I don't even know if I want to field. I think I just want to play Scout. And then play Cinder Vines. And pass. And I'm really hoping to fade a Thoughtseize here because Chandra is great. That's the one thing about this deck is, like, you know, your heavy hitters are very, very good cards that, you know, when you get to cast them on turn 4 or 5, like a couple turns ahead, and some of them even, you know, much faster than you should be able to. It does a whole lot. Inquisition, yep, you got it. You can look at our Chandra, but you can't take it, and you got to take 1 damage off of Cinder Vines. Cinder Vines is one of the most, like, when this came out, I was like, this card's just, it's fine. It's just a bad destructive revelry. But, like, this card is just, like, it gets the sub as, like, pseudo Storm Hate in a lot of decks, while also being your Artifact and Enchantment Hate, and that says a lot. And, you know, incidental damage, people really underrate how important incidental damage is. Oh, this is sweet. I think we're just going to go ahead and sack Steve here, just so we have the land for our Cinder Vines to activate it. We drew it anyway, but that's plus. And get in there. For 6. The thing about putting the batter, like, the thing is, we've already have the batter scroll answered. It doesn't matter. So now we get to get in for 8 total here. So we got a Chandra on board. Clue as a redraw as well. On top of Chandra's redraw if we feel like we need to, if we get put in a bad position. Stoneforge. Do they have second Batterskull? I've been surprised by second Batterskull so many times. Like, I'm just like, oh, well, okay, Sword of Light and Shadow. So it's black and white. So it does nothing against us, really. Other than it's going to gain. That's the one that gains life. Gains 3 life and returns a creature from your graveyard to your hand. So nothing too great against us. So we can play. I like Sanctum. Let's crack this and draw a card. Golos. Alright, I really like Golos. All about some Golos. And now we can go get Cascading Cataracts and do our thing with it. Yes, we want to use Golos' ability. Get our Cascading Cataracts. And then I think we just want to get in here. Because like we can still block whatever they put that thing on. We could just -2 though. But that opens us up to getting Helix, which we know they have. So let's just plus here. Sword of Light and Shadow. You got it. Not a very good one against us. As pro, not any of the colors in our deck. Sure, we'll trade with one Stoneforge. Put them down to 8. Exile our tokens. Like, even if they equip this sword here, they equip it to the Stoneforge Mystic, it makes it a 3/4. And they still can't attack through Golos. And yeah. They can't put it on Shambling Vent because they would need 2 more mana before they could do that. And that would take their entire turn to do. And they still... It'd still just be a 4/5, and it still couldn't get through Golos. So, not really scared of Sword and Light Shadow at all. Path our Golos? No! Can't be pathing our Golos. Yeah, fine. Whatever. We never get to use our Golos friend. So they can attack here. They're attacking Chandra. So they don't get the trigger, so they don't gain life. Interesting. Let's play Grazer. Let's plus. We're just on the aggro plan with Chandra. No reason not to be. They're going to have to do a lot to deal any damage to us with the Stoneforge Mystic so that they can gain life, and we're just dealing 6 a turn. They can't kill the Chandra now. That's the thing, they can't kill the Chandra, and they can barely block. Like, right here, if they don't do anything, they can block the Chandra tokens. But at that point, I think we just start zeroing and trying to draw more cards. I don't know what they have in hand. They haven't really played anything. Alright, and they're attacking us. 10 out of 10 will block. Lone Rider, got it. You haven't gained any life. Another Lone Rider, got it. Still haven't gained any life. Just go ahead and blow. I guess it doesn't matter. We don't want to give them more mana. Like, ooh. Got him. Yeah, let's go ahead and play that. And plus plus for the lethals. Chandra showing out again. Showing how strong Chandra can be in this modern format. This card was so good in standard. Like, this used to be like a $30 card, and then it just slowly but surely got kind of power crept out of the format. There was new things to do. And you had cards like Emrakul that just went bigger than it, and it kind of it became a feature whenever Aetherworks decks were out, because it was just a great thing to hit, because it could win, is a card that could win you the game, dig you to your combo pieces, and also wrath the board against the zombies deck that was popular then. So Chandra's a good card. People, I mean, it's no 2019 Planeswalker, but it's not like it was printed in War of the Spark. But the card is good, and if you can cast it ahead of schedule, it's a pretty solid card. I mean, it basically has what like the plus being that it attacks for 6. The minus right off the bat being like something like Storm's Wrath. Even though Storm's Wrath also hits Planeswalkers, this one doesn't hit Planeswalkers, but something like Storm's Wrath, it's just like, the best red version of a sweeper. And the 0 being able to, like, you saw how, like, we dug through like 30 cards in that one match with Chandra. I've been very impressed. Eh. Like, if we could find another land, we are on the draw. Finding another land is pretty big here, though, so that we can play this Hedron Archive or this Baloth early. I think I'm interested in keeping, though. Like, we have good stuff here. Grapple's good at finding lands. If we do miss for the Baloth or the Hedron Archive on turn 3. If we draw an actual forest, we will be able to play Traverse for a mountain and then play Steve, and then we can alright. Not the land we wanted. I needed an untapped land. Really confused as to what opponent's deck is. Like they're like a Mardu mid-range deck, but they never really seem to have like the discard too much. I say that now, I'm about to get discarded. Lone Rider's fine. Lone Rider is fine. I walk alone. Sweet. That gives it to us, because now we can get a forest here and play either one of these lands and play either Baloth or Hedron Archive next turn. Also, we get to make sure they don't gain any life for this with this Lone Rider. Give me that forest. No life for you. Kazgao. Sword of Light and Shadow. That one's a little scary. Cinder Vines is a nice, clean answer to that. As is just playing an Obstinate Baloth, which I think is what I'm going to do here. So, like, worst case scenario, yeah, is they suit this up and then this, like, Helix is us. Path, okay. So they will get to flip this. That's fine, because we can get rid of the sword. So I'm not too scared of that. And maybe I should have played that turn a little bit more conservatively, so that I didn't have to deal with this monstrosity of a threat. So I think we're gonna go grapple. And see what we get here. Grapple for Steve. Then let's play Cinder Vines. Then let's play Steve here. Steve can prevent this attack unless they want to use a removal spell on it, and they're using a removal spell on my Steve. I think that's a win for me, especially when I just got it back with his grapple. We have 3 card types. We have land, instant. Yeah, this will put enchantment in so that we can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, next turn we're going to block here, and then next turn we get to play Hedron Archive and Traverse for Emrakul. It's Helix. Yeah, that's fine. Really? Let's see. We'll have 4 card types. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Ugh. So close. Yeah, big attack here. They get to gain 9 life. Yeah, that part's a little annoying. Another Lone Rider. That automatically flips. Lone Rider's gross. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 mana. 1 goes here. We can get World Breaker, answer a land, be able to block these. Okay. But we gotta sacrifice this first. So we don't have enough. Because, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We need 1 for this and 7 for the other, and we need 1 for this. So, yeah, let's, I guess, blow up the sword. That's 8 damage I gotta take. Let's let's play Hedron Archive. And then Traverse. And ooh, Glorybringer would have been so good here. I think it's just Emrakul because they're gonna have a hard time answering Emrakul, and then we just put Emrakul down, and then they just can't attack into us anymore. It has pro instance. I guess Emrakul is really bad if they have Kai's Guile. But like if they have like another path in hand or something like that, we really get to punish them on when we take their turn. And we get to go get a World Breaker off of this, which is nice. Yep, we go to 7. You're there at 1,000,000,000 life. So 5 card types, so this only costs 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we can play Tracker 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Which is enough for 8 in this, yeah. I could have got a clue too. I shouldn't have done that the way I did it. And we're going to sack our Sanctum of Ugin. Helix the Tracker. Got it. Tracker is Helix. Yes. Get World Breaker just because it's bigger. Golos is pretty cool too, though. Alright, pass our turn. Let's see what they have in hand. No matter what happens, we get to. Alright, Comball. They draw a Swamp. I don't really think I want to play either of these. We just get the block and eat this here. And then they have a turn. They have a swamp and a Kumbal. They don't really have good attacks at all. Kind of surprised they have the Kumbal in their deck. I figured they play it here. Red, black, Croxa. God, Croxa was the most immaculate rip there. Jesus. Croxa was such a good rip there. Alright, K return is a thing. We can get our World Breaker back by sacrificing a land. Can we still cat 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? Yeah. So we can still cast it. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's blow up their Sacred Foundry. Not gonna attack yet, just because we're. If I'm attacking, it's probably gonna be with this World Breaker. Or after we've dealt with these threats. Okay, so we take 4 and go to 3, but we wipe their board. Alright. We can grapple. We don't have Baloth in the yard. That's annoying. Yeah, I think we just get in here. They don't have good attacks. That's the one thing we have on them, is that they don't have good attacks. Like Kai's Guile, we have the World Breaker, so they're going to have double removal spell. Another Lone Rider, that's fine. Like if they attack into this, it's an easy trade for us. So we died to Helix. let's see what they're doing here. Blood Crypt. What could they have here? K command. Deal 2 to this, I discard a card. Okay. Pretty sure I want to discard Kozilek's Return. That way if they kill my World Breaker, I can get it back this turn and then cast it next turn. I actually think I should have grappled there. Because grappling there would have won me the game. I would have went to 5, but then I would have wiped their board. It's okay. I think we're fine here. They still don't have good attacks. And I think K Return is about to win us the game. Shrine of Forsaken Gods. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Use Kozilek's ability. Kozilek's Return's ability. Yes. Blow up your land. Yes. Think we're gonna get there. World Breaker putting in some absolute work over here. Being able to... We've recurred 2 World Breakers in this game after losing them. Play this Seal of Fire just in case they have something coming back out. Move to combat. Is this make it half o'clock? This is 23 or 13, 18 doesn't do it. So yeah, we have to. I guess we can only attack with these. What am I talking about? I'm dumb. This is still fine because Seal of Fire is actually lethal with this. I guess this is 23 and they're taking 18 here, so we just have lethal. The following turn. I think we got this one. I was pretty worried there that Lone Rider combo stuff, and then they had the way to answer the world. I think answering the world like that was the best part about this was because of how they answered it. We got to actually ditch our K return, but we were kind of baiting them into killing the World Breaker the entire time. An opponent gives us the GG's World Breaker putting in work. Oh my gosh, World Breaker, such a stud. This card is so good, so underrated. Ugh. But we've played like five of these game, even though we only have two of them in our deck. Awesome. All right. Well, we'll see you back for our final game five here in a few. All right, guys. Back here, game five of Breaking Budget with Green Red Delirium Ramp. This hand looks pretty sweet. Uh, Likely to hit a land off of Grapple. Turn one search, seal, and K return as some interaction. I think we can keep this. Yeah, it's a little land light, so it's a little sketchy, but you know, we're on the draw. Drawing into lands is uh, pretty easy, and we have the search, so we really just need to draw into a couple lands so that we can cast Golos, and then we're off to the races. Our final opponent, 3-1 now, only loss we've had. It was a close one to a blue-white control deck that almost timed out, but barely by the skin of their teeth did not. And speaking of the devil, a polluted delta there. Alright, another search for tomorrow is nice. Let's suspend that and pass our turn. Opponent assuredly thinks we are on Scape Shift. I'm positive. Watery Grave. Was this Death Shadow? Oh, it is Death Shadow. Ugh. Wonder how this matchup is. I bet it's rough. We don't have a lot of great interaction. Our interaction's mainly damage based. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're gonna play a Gurmy here. Big Gurmy Gurm. Ugh. Yuck. We're gonna need like 3 spells to answer this. Man, I want to. I think we're just gonna have to do this search later. There's a mountain. We'll take the mountain. K return in the yard.
I've got this for you.
Sorry about that. So we're gonna eat a couple fives here, but if we can get a World Breaker or an Emrakul, we can kill this with our K return on the flashback. Get to cast this here. Let's go get our other mountain. Alright, so let's play this mountain that they already knew about. Hard cast search for tomorrow. Get a forest. And then let's play Seal of Fire. And we're going to need another 5 here. Opponent doesn't seem to have stub there. I feel like they would have fired it off, but maybe they're just using it to protect the Garmag Angler. Next turn we get to Golos. And sadly, I think our Golos is going to be on blocking duty. Would... Trying to think of what we have in our deck that would be the best here. I think World Breaker is really probably the best card we can draw. Like Golos, go Golos, chump into World Breaker. or some other random 2 damage spell. I really don't want a 3 for 1 ourselves, but I guess we can actually. Golos will trade with the Gurmag if we since we have Seal of Fire. Sanctum of Ugin, okay. So play Golos. I think I'm gonna go get a Field of Ruin here. Because we already have plenty of mana available to us. Field of Ruin can hit this Blood Crypt. Because I don't think... I would get Cascading Cataracts with Golos, because that's usually the plan. But I don't think our Golos is long for this world. We cannot afford to take any more damage. You got it, babe. Thought Scour's us. It's looking for some information. They might have it wrapped up here. They might just have all the stuff they need. Alright. Block here. Not going to lose Team Battle Rage today. Yeah, they got my K return. Go ahead and hit the Garmag with the seal. Now let's see if we can draw anything that actually matters. I'm going to go ahead and try and field them off red a little bit here. Also getting some lands out of our deck so that we can draw something good here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 8 mana, so Emrakul and Worldbreaker are both live here. Both live draws for us. Snapcaster Mage, targeting Thought Scour. I'm assuming. You can't target Thoughtseize. I mean, they can, but they can't cast it. So yeah, Thought Scour. Gonna Thought Scour themselves. Or they just flash it and snap for some beats. Thought Scour us. Little do they know that actually helps us. Because we have Grapple. So Grapple now also pretty live because of Glorybringer being in the yard, as well as Golos. But yeah, totally fine with opponent milling us. Don't think we're going to get a better target for this here, so might as well fire it off. Obviously, you know, other threats. Bad. We need to draw threats. Death Shadow is a good one. That's a 4/4 though. Worldbreaker. Nice. Alright, so let's play this forest. That's 6, 7. Let's flash both of these back. So yeah, blow up your steam vents. First thing, blow up your steam vents. sacrifice our Sanctum of Ugin. Get an Emrakul. Use this Kozilek's return. And then we won't use this one because obviously we don't need to. Worldbreaker. Kozilek's return, so good. And now we have a Worldbreaker with an Emrakul on deck. Obviously, Thoughtseize on our Emrakul is going to feel bad, but we have a 5/7, they're at 9. We also have a free 5-mana sweeper chilling in our graveyard whenever we can cast any of these. Cycle Street Wraith. So, and that's why we were going to use both of the Kozilek's returns. So that we didn't get blown up by a Street Wraith. Sweet, we got there. Okay, so against Death Shadow. Roast is really good. I like Baloth. I don't know how I feel about Choke and Boil. I know Choke and Boil are pretty good because Watery Grave is probably their best land. But I don't know how good they actually are. I think Glorybringer and Chandra just don't line up very well against what they're doing. I like the Kozilek's returns because they can deal 5. We can definitely cut a Seal of Fire. And probably a Tarfire. It's just not good enough here most of the time. Now it just kind of comes down to are there other cards that we don't want in the matchup? Golo seems fine because it blocks well. Also, it plus a 2 damage spell can answer a Garmag Angler. Steve's solid. Hedron Archive probably a little slow. I could see cutting this for a couple chokes. Yeah, and then we can probably trim on the pilgrimage. Just because it's a pretty easy stub target. Because choke is the same, but choke I think choke's a little bit more impactful. So let's try this. I mean, thinking about it, they have 7 actual lands that tap for mana. 4 of them are islands. So, yeah, I mean, this is, yeah. Steve into Baloth with some K return action. It's not bad. Fetch Shock Thoughtseize. Do what you want. I dare you. Dang it. Roast. Roast is a pretty good draw there. In case they try to go Fetch Shock Thought Scour into a Gurmy. Cycle Street Wraith. Yep. What are you up to, opponent? Nothing here. Interesting. I guess maybe they're looking for their third land because they know I have the roast. So they're looking for their third land so they can play their threat and protect it. Or maybe they need to lose a little bit more life, but they don't have their third land. Into Ressant. Uh, eh. Do I want to fill the ruin their watery grave? That's the real question. Do I want to fill the ruin their watery grave? No, because I think this makes my choke better, and I don't really care about them having double blue as much. So I'll just play a Seal of Fire and pass the turn. Next turn we can play Tireless Tracker and get a clue. I will gladly pay one for Stubborn and all. I don't know why they'd fire off the stub there. This spell seems fairly irrelevant. Because yeah, they just like Fetch Shock their way right past this with a Death Shadow. Now I will definitely do this because these are their only basics. Play Gurmag Angler? Sure. With stub up. Oh, they're just going to play the Death Shadow? Hmm. They've got to have the Street Wraith. Oh, they just didn't? They didn't have Street Wraith? Oh, gosh. Why would they do that? I'm so confused. I'm almost certain they don't have third basic, but I don't want to risk it in case they have. They wouldn't have played the Death Shadow if they had stub, though. And this can get me my second green. Yeah, okay. Well, that worked very well. That was a very good exchange for us. I don't know what opponent was thinking there. I guess they knew I could take that same line after. Alright, Cinderglade. So yeah, we're gonna do this here because we can block the Death Shadow. They don't have the red for TBR. We are, and until they grow that Death Shadow, I will gladly block with a. Yeah, they don't have the stuff to even grow it. So yeah, let's get a clue here. Let's crack a clue, put a counter on our tracker. Play a forest, get another counter on our tracker. Play K return. I'm not gonna attack only because they could have Snapcaster Mage, and this tracker will bury them. So it's easier to just play around it. Also, I kind of like where their life total's at if they have another Death Shadow. Yeah, this tracker is just gonna be able to bury them in card advantage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2 with the grapple. Let's get Cataracts. Play this land. Get another clue. Now I think we're good to just attack. Put them to 6. There's a Death Shadow, which is something I was worried about here, but I still think we're fine. Because we're on the advantage of the fact that we get to attack into this and they have to block. And it's just an easy trade. Play this. Clue. Alright, so we have 5 card types. That's 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 3 mana left over with that. So we could still crack a clue. And we get to traverse. We probably want to traverse for. It's probably just Emrakul. Because we can swing. Really? Let's think about this. 5, 6, 7. We have 4 mana left that way. So we could grapple, get Steve, play Steve, and then attack. And for. So, yeah. Can't remember if we drew a land, so I'm just gonna get the Steve. Or so I can't remember if we played one or not. Cataracts, tap there. Should have attacked with both. Yeah, like we just have the bigger threats now. And we can go ahead and traverse here. 4. Good. Oh, it's probably World Breaker. World Breaker's probably just better. Just blow up their swamp and they can't win. We just have too much stuff for them. That one turn where we got to answer the Death Shadow and the Gurmag Angler really defined this entire game. Sweet, we got there. 4-1, 4-1 with our cool little deck that we came up with for breaking budget. Like I said, this is an archetype that I love to play in standard, and always have tried to bring to modern. And it's never really translated. It's never really. I never thought it would translate as good as it has today. But shows the power of Seal of Fire. Shows the power of ramping up and casting these big, powerful spells. You don't always have to ramp super hard. Uh, like some of the Titan decks do now, to be able to do some pretty cool things. And like here we have a diverse suite of stuff that we're doing, and I'm sure you can change this up in a ton of different ways. uh with you could play some Field of the Deads in this deck. Like you could play the same Field of the Dead deck, but also just have uh World Breaker, Emrakul, the Kozilek Return package. Kozilek Return's also seen some play in things like with Elder Deep Fiend, which if you don't know what Elder Deep Fiend is, I do not have one. There we go. So this is Elder Deep Fiend. Is an Eldrazi Octopus with Flash and Emerge. It's a 5/6. Whenever you cast it, tap up to 4 target permanents. But it's 8 mana. But what you could do is you could sacrifice a creature and take that creature's CMC and generic off of this Emerge. So like if you sacrificed a 3 drop to emerge it over that, it would only cost 4. So what you like the decks would just put K returns into the yard, and then they would play a bunch of Sanctum of Ugins, and then just go, oh, emerge my Elder Deep Fiend, go get another Elder Deep Fiend, tap all your lands down, and wipe your board, and then they would untap, after basically time walking you, 5 you, and then emerge the next Elder Deep Fiend over their previous Elder Deep Fiend, and just continue the loop. So all they really needed was like usually like an Elder Deep Fiend and like one or two other decent sized creatures uh, to just two shot you after time walking you with the first Elder Deep Fiend. But no, this card has also seen some play with Kozilek's Return. I would love to get a deck that did that in Modern. It might be one of the next things we try for our breaking budget. But for today's list felt really good. We had a lot of fun. We played against a lot of different decks. Uh, some more tier than others. Like we played against the legit blue white control deck and against the legit Grixis Death Shadow, and we got to see what our deck can do when we play against actual tier archetypes, showing that just because you don't have your $1,000 modern deck or whatever it might be, that you can still go up to your F&M, maybe even a local tournament and things like that, and do pretty well once you have some experience with one of these budget decks. And that's what it is. This is for getting people into the format. This deck doesn't translate directly into any deck, but it can translate into something like Titan Shift because it does have a lot of the same cards. It could maybe uh, it's a little bit looser of a translation, but it might translate you towards something like Tron, where you enjoy, uh, ramping and casting big Eldrazi's, but you don't necessarily have the cash for something like Ugin or Karn or something like that. And then also, you have a lot of good green red cards and stuff like that. It might translate you into something like the Ponza deck that also plays like Chokes and Boils in the sideboard and the cards like Cinder Vines. Uh, but I definitely think this deck is sweet. There will be a link in the description if you guys want to check it out and see what I would put as the non-budget version. Might have to give me some time to get that one together because there are a lot of different ways that we could go with this. Uh, as well, I think deck performed well. We got to see how easy it was to get Delirium, how strong Traverse the Ulvenwald was, how much it actually how little it matters for our speed. Like it didn't matter because we didn't have the ability we didn't cast Emrakul on turn 4 or 5 at all, but we still did good in a lot of our games because we were able to bridge that gap. We got to see K return do well. We got to see Chandra perform real well. Uh, Golos ended a game for us one time. Field of Ruin was very good. Field of Ruin's a very good card in Modern, definitely worth picking up your playset. But like I said, $160 for your full 75 Modern deck that can compete with decks like Grixis Death Shadow, decks like Blue White Control, all kinds of different things. So definitely give this deck a try. I enjoyed it for sure, and I hope you guys do too. For those of you watching this on YouTube, thank you. I hope you liked the channel. I hope you liked our Breaking Budget series. You can also check out other Modern videos of some non-budget Eternal content that we've put out. Or you can check in the there'll be a playlist of all the Breaking Budget things if you want to see something else. We still early in the series, but we're definitely going to be coming out with some new stuff soon. Other than that, make sure if you enjoyed the content, you like and subscribe. You can also check me out on Twitch at SireCheesy2Great, just like it is over there on the over there on the sword. Uh, or you can follow me on Twitter. We post when we're going live there for the stream if we're ever streaming. And also talk about all kinds of different Magic content. Post some of my lists. Post, if I get a 5-0 or something fun happened in one of my leagues. A lot of fun stuff there, so go check out the Twitter account too. Appreciate you guys for hanging out. Hope you enjoy the deck. Hope you get to, crush some Modern with your new $150, $160 budget deck. Guys, have a good night. Stay cheesy.